Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. An episode, Stacy Harris starring in Want Ad, a robber using the newspaper to find mink coats to steal, but a murder complicates his profession. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday, 11th day of July, 7/11, Slurpee Day. You know that. 192nd day of the year, 173 days remaining. Pope Clement VII excommunicated King Henry VIII of England in 1533. The Marine Corps re-established on this date in 1798. They had been disbanded after the American Revolutionary War. Former Vice President Aaron Burr fatally wounded on this date in 1804. He wounded former Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton in a duel. Hamilton would die the following afternoon. In 1864, Confederate General Jubal A. Early and his troops attacked Washington. They retreated the next day, ending the Confederate threat to occupy the capital. Babe Ruth made his Major League Baseball debut on this date in 1914 as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1977 for his work to advance civil rights. The U.S. and Vietnam established full diplomatic relations in 1995. CIA Director George Tenet left his position at the agency in 2004. Bombay terrorist attack on this date in 2006. That attack killed more than 160 people, injured a further 460 when 7 bombs detonated on the train network in the Indian financial capital of Mumbai. Blast said to be carried out by members of the radical group Students Islamic Movement of India. In 2015, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman escaped from the maximum security prison in Altiplano in Mexico. It was his second escape. And it was a year ago today, Richard Branson became the first civilian to be launched into space by his Virgin Galactic spacecraft. Among those passing away on this date in history, Mac from Night Court, Charlie Robinson, Lady Bird Johnson, from the TV show doc, actor Barnard Hughes, Frances Langford, and you know her from the many singing gigs she did with Bob Hope over the years, big band singer Helen Forrest, composer George Gershwin, and Sir Laurence Olivier.
Kathy, you loved me. What right to throw love away for the poor fancy thing you felt for him, for a handful of worldliness? Misery and death and all the evils that God and man could have hammered down would never have parted us. You did that alone. You wandered off like a wanton, greedy child to break your heart and mine.
From the 1939 motion picture Wuthering Heights, Sir Laurence Olivier, passing away on this date in 1989. This is the birth date of Yul Brynner.
Oh, good morning, Your Majesty.
You think you teach King lesson, but this is one lesson you do not be paid for teaching. In future, you will stop instructing wives and children in silly English song, Home Sweet House, in order to remind me of breaking promises I never make, etc., etc., etc.
An excerpt from the motion picture The King and I, Yul Brynner, born on this date in history, as was President John Adams. Match Games, Brett Summers, of course, she should be better remembered as the ex-wife of Jack Klugman. Also, actor Tab Hunter and pro wrestler Butch Reed, who passed away last year at the age of 66. Birthday number 63 for Bon Jovi's Richie Sambora, the woman who sang about Luca and Tom's Diner, Suzanne Vega, is 63. Mrs. Harry Hamblin, Days of Our Lives and Melrose Place, actress Lisa Rinna, 59. From Wipeout and Talk Soup, John Henson, 55. From Grey's Anatomy, Justin Chambers is 52. Rapper Lil' Kim is 48. And also from Grey's Anatomy, Rachel Taylor is 38. Those some of the people who celebrate Slurpee Day, 7-Eleven Day, the 11th day of July is their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
She sings almost as good as I do. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. From July 11th, 1956, 66 years ago today, Suspense, Want Ad, starring Stacy Harris, on this Monday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on this Monday Classic Radio Theater, we go back 66 years, July 11th, 1956, for an episode of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, we bring you a factual story, the dramatization of one man's deadly way of earning his living. All he needed was the morning newspaper, a telephone, and a gun. So now, starring Mr. Stacy Harris, here is tonight's suspense play, Want Ad.
Well, you see, a guy in my line works alone, more or less. At least he should. But when I first got into town, I met a little lady. And after we'd known each other a couple of months or better, we got married. As a matter of fact, it worked out pretty well, because every morning she'd get up ahead of me and fix me some eggs and coffee. Pretty nice, huh? The little lady's name is Wilma.
Baby? Baby?
Hey, you through with the funnies?
Uh-huh. Do you have to work today?
Yeah, afraid so.
Oh, I was hoping we could spend a quiet day together. Here. You know, sort of lie around, look at the paper and everything.
Baby, you know I'd like that, but... Well, I've got other things I have to do.
Leave me all alone to spend the day with myself. I got a new dress. I could wear it.
That's fine, honey. It's fine. I better get busy.
You just never pay any attention. Well, all right. Oh, baby. I think I'll go window shopping. I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Section 3. Pages 10 to 17. Now then, personals. George, come home. Addie, need you. Some people. Henderson will talk to you about your problem right in case. Here we are. Okay. 289. Hello. I'm calling about an advertisement in this morning's paper. Do I have the right number? Yes, I am. What kind of a coat is it? Well, that sounds like something I might be interested in seeing. Yes. Will you hold on a minute? I'll take that down. Okay. 1425 West... How do you spell that? Y-O-N... Yondota. Mm-hmm. Yes, in about an hour. Thank you. One for the money. 2 for the show. 3 to get ready. 4 to go. And 5 to make sure. And 6 to blow if I have to. How many women can go out and plunk down the kind of money it takes to walk out of a store with a mink coat? Huh? Not many? Well, for my dough, not any. That means that where there's a mink, you can bet there's a boyfriend or a husband around to pay for it. And you can bet that when the coat's got to go, that he's already gone, and the lady's got to eat. Get it? She's all alone, and she wants to sell her coat. How do you do?
Yes.
I'm Mr. Vernon. I called about your advertisement in the paper this morning.
Oh, yes, Mr. Vernon.
You haven't sold it yet.
Well, no, I haven't.
Oh, good.
Now, I don't want to do business with any dealer. I just don't want to be bothered with any dealers. Half a dozen have called me already. I hope you're not a dealer, Mr. Vernon.
Oh, do I look like a dealer?
Well, I just can't tell anymore. They're very clever people. I just want to sell the coat outright to somebody. Not on any contingency basis or anything just like that. Sell it outright. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. But I'll have to see it before I can make my offer.
Well, all right. Come in.
Thanks.
Well, I'm Mrs. Phelps.
How do you do, Mrs. Phelps? Well, you have a very nice home here.
Oh, thank you.
Lived here long?
2 years. Would you like to step in here, please?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I've been plagued to death with all kinds of dealers. I don't know how, but some of them found my address without even calling the number I put in the paper.
Oh, they do things like that?
Oh, they sure do. Let me tell you, they certainly do. Well, here it is.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's very, very nice. Very, very nice. It's a silver blue mink, isn't it?
Yes.
Mrs. Phelps, could I ask you to put it on? It'd help me. You're about my wife's size.
Oh, sure.
Here, okay.
Now, here, you can see that it's cut very full. See? The sleeves are very full, too.
Mm-hmm.
Bat wing sleeves. And cuffs, too. Makes the coat very luxurious.
Yes, that's a lot of coat there. That's just a lot of coat, Mrs. Phelps.
Well, I love it. I just love it. My husband bought it for me a year ago, and I hate to have to sell it, but, well, I need the money. And you can see it's hardly worn at all. Here, look at the lining. See? It's all intact. Why, I don't think I wore this coat more than a dozen times.
Mrs. Phelps, how much did it cost retail?
Mr. Phelps paid $4,000 for it. These are the insurance papers. You can see what they insured it for.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now that a friend has already offered me $2,800 for it, and I wouldn't think of selling it for anywhere near that. Why, I'd rather keep it.
Would you think of selling it for $34?
34?
Yeah.
Well, that's still pretty cheap.
I don't have to tell you that if the coat's a year old, it's a $600 depreciation. That's not bad. I could possibly get the same coat new for $38. I doubt if you'll get a better offer than $34, Mrs. Phelps, and I'm willing to pay right now.
Well, I'd have to talk to my husband first.
Oh, is he here now?
He's not home right now, but he'll be here any minute. Oh, could you come back this afternoon?
Hey, I came to buy the coat now. I'm leaving town this afternoon. I thought you were ready to sell.
Well, oh, all right, Mr. Vernon. I'll take... But, well, I don't know you at all. Now, you understand you'd have to give me a certified check, or I'd have to keep the coat until your check clears the bank.
I pay cash. I brought the cash with me.
Oh.
Well, is anything wrong with that?
Oh, no, Mr. Vernon. Why, I just didn't expect to sell it so quickly. I still have the box that came in. A perfectly lovely box. I'll give you that for nothing.
It's nice. I would like a box.
You know, Mr. Vernon, you are getting a bargain, a real bargain in this coat. Oh, I tell you, my husband and I looked for almost 2 years before we found a mink that, just suited. You know what I mean? Now, you can buy any fur coat, mink or sable, I don't care what it is, and 30 days later you hate the sight of it. But this one, oh, your wife will never get tired of it. Isn't this a pretty box?
Yes, it is.
Now, you tell your wife to be sure and keep it in a fur storage vault during the warm months. You have to take care of mink, that's all there is to it.
Yes, I know. Something like this you really take care of.
Oh, yes. Well, she'll just love it, I know. Do you live around here?
On the east side.
Oh, it's lovely over there, just lovely. Whereabouts?
On the lake.
Isn't that nice? Well, now, there. How does that look?
Just fine.
My, I'm glad you came in the morning. I'll want to take the money to the bank right away. I hate to have to keep that much money around the house.
Yes, I figured you would, Mrs. Phelps, so I won't bother giving you the money.
What?
Well, then you won't have to make a trip to the bank or worry about money around the house.
Oh, you mean you want to give me a personal check?
I want to give you nothing.
But you did come here to buy this coat. Don't you want it?
Yep. I want it, lady.
Oh, you're a thief.
I sure am. Now, don't scream. Don't open your mouth.
Oh, please, don't hurt me.
Right, over
please,
there.
don't hurt me.
Go on. Oh, with $4,000, 1 year old. Oh, real good buy. You should have seen your face when I told you I'd give you $3,400 for it.
Oh.
I'm a thief. Oh, anybody could buy that coat new for $2,500. It'll bring me about $1,000 in the shape it's in right now. I'm a thief with a gun in my hand, taking what I want. Now you figure out what you'd be if you were counting my $3,400, huh? Oh, you're quite a cute kidder, Mrs. Phelps, but then I'm used to people like you. Now, go on, you get in there.
Please.
Go on, get in.
Don't take my coat, please. It's the only thing I have that's worth anything.
Well, that's how simple it works. I've been in the business for a little while now, and I know a few things about it. Of course, you got to watch your step and be ready for anything that happens, like today. Uh-oh.
Liz? Hey, Liz, I've been trying... Oh. Well, who are you?
Hi, who are you?
Well, I'm Frank Phelps. Who'd you say you were?
I didn't say. Besides, you wouldn't know me anyhow.
Where's Liz? Hey, that's Liz.
Is it?
And that's Liz's coat.
It's my gun.
Why, you... What have you done to her? What's been going on here?
Just hang on to your hat, brother, and you won't get hurt. She's okay.
No cheap crook's going to come into my house and pull a stunt like
now,
this.
Wait a minute.
I'll show you. Get down.
Get down.
Down and stay down.
Well, you people will certainly have something to talk about over dinner tonight, won't you? Yeah. Something to talk about, all right. Now, when the hard part's done, and it isn't usually as it was today, the next part is to get a hold of a fence who can use an ice mink coat. It's pretty easy. I use Walter myself. He takes the pain out of everything. I don't go to him, just a little old phone call, and he comes to me.
Sorry.
You what?
Oh, you blew it this time, boy. I don't want this thing. It's too hot. Keep it.
What's with you? You're getting touchy?
I'm not getting anything. I just don't want to do business with you anymore. No, sir.
Oh, now, wait a minute, you.
Get your hands off of me, boy. Get your hands off of me. A smash makes you big time, huh? Is that it? Gun whip turns you into Class A stuff? Now, hands off of me, boy. Last time I'll ask.
There's no sense in us arguing, Walter.
I'm going to try very hard, but I don't think I'm going to like you anymore. You're a killer now.
I'm a what?
The guy Phelps died this afternoon. It's in all the papers.
You shouldn't have run at me.
Oh, is that what you're going to tell the cops when they drag you out of somewhere by the scuff of the neck?
Oh, no cop's going to do that to me.
They always grind off little punks like you, boy. You killed the guy. You beat him to death. You stole his wife's mink coat. There isn't any place they won't look for you, boy. And they know where to look for your kind. They won't stop till they find you. You're gone, boy. Just plain gone. Only you don't know it yet.
are listening to Want Ad, tonight's presentation on radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
From July 11th, 1956, Suspense on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have the news from 66 years ago today and the conclusion of Suspense following these important words from your favorite radio station. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. We're listening to an episode of Suspense, Want Ad, starring Stacy Harris, as it was originally broadcast Wednesday, July 11th, 1956, in the newspapers of that Wednesday 66 years ago. These were some of the headlines. President Eisenhower will run again. He passed the word yesterday through GOP congressional leaders who quoted him as saying he is in much better health than before his major abdominal surgery. Republicans expressed jubilation and predicted a big victory for their party in November. Democrats, preparing battle plans for an attempt to unseat Eisenhower, said they were glad he feels well enough to be a candidate again. The stock market moved slightly higher for a time, then turned mixed and finally rose again. Brokers, like most other people, had generally believed the president would stay in the race, and many traders had taken into account the expected development some time ago. The decision was hailed by a number of leaders. Republicans greeted enthusiastically the definitive word that President Eisenhower will go ahead with his second-term bid, and many Democrats expressed gratification he feels physically fit for the race. Adlai Stevenson, out in front in pledged delegates for the Democrat convention, says he was delighted the president feels in good enough shape to run again. He predicted the nation will benefit from forthcoming political debates on its problems. Meanwhile, Senator Kefauver, the Democrat of Tennessee, also an aspirant for the Democrat nomination, said, "I'm glad he feels well enough," but added, "I hope it's a decision he and Mrs. Eisenhower arrived at free of political pressures. By that I mean I hope he is not jeopardizing his health as a result of political pressures." Russia charged yesterday that American military planes flew deep into western Russia 3 times within the past week in a gross violation of Soviet airspace. Soviet Ambassador Georgy Zarubin, acting on instructions from Moscow, lodged the protest in a formal note handed to Secretary of State John Foster Dulles. Zarubin sternly denounced the alleged overflights as an invasion of our air and said some of the flights penetrated up to 200 miles inside of Russia. He told reporters some of these planes remained there 2.5 hours. State Department promptly reported it knows absolutely nothing about this, but promised to check with appropriate authorities in the Defense Department. No immediate comment from the Defense Department. The Navy said it will be only a few years before it will be firing ballistic missiles fitted with high-yield nuclear warheads. Progress in the field of naval missiles was disclosed by Admiral John E. Clark and Vice Admiral Thomas S. Combs in testimony given to a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee and made public yesterday in highly censored form. The officer said the Navy has spent 10 years developing its missile arsenal and has achieved a significant reduction in weight of high-yield nuclear warheads. The House of Lords last night rejected a bill to abolish hanging in Britain in the face of threats that the House may be stripped of any political power. By an overwhelming 238 to 95 vote, the peers threw back to the House of Commons the most controversial piece of legislation to worry the nation in many years. Rejection by the House of Lords left up in the air the hotly debated issue of the abolition of capital punishment carried out by hanging in Britain. The House Committee on Un-American Activities yesterday voted a contempt citation against Arthur Miller, prize-winning playwright, and the new husband of actress Marilyn Monroe. The committee action stemmed from Miller's refusal to testify about the alleged communist activities of his former associates when he was questioned by the House investigators June 21st. The playwright freely answered all questions about his own past with Red Fronts, but he said it was against his conscience to talk about anyone else's activities. Vice President Richard Nixon and Spanish Foreign Minister Alberto Martin Adjua talked over Spanish-American problems yesterday during a swim in the Mediterranean Sea. The vice president arrived from plane from Ankara, where he discussed Turkey's economic problems and the Cyprus issue with Turkish leaders. After a 4-hour stopover, Nixon and his wife flew off for Washington. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Wednesday, July 11th, 1956, on your radio, Suspense, the conclusion of which you'll hear next on this Monday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
For what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. On Tuesday's Classic Radio Theater, another summer series, Confession, that was originally broadcast 69 years ago, July 12th, 1953. The story of Martin Everett, a promising college student, gets seduced into a life of crime. That'll be coming up on our Tuesday Classic Radio Theater, but now the conclusion of Suspense. From 66 years ago, July 11th, 1956, Stacy Harris, starring in Want Ad.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood sound stage Mr. Stacy Harris, starring in tonight's production, Want Ad, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I know maybe a half a dozen fences in town. I only tried 2 of them after Walter. Those fellas are kind of chicken about some things. They get a little action with a piece of merchandise and they get scared. Of course, they're all afraid of something or the other.
Are you thinking, hon? Is that what you're doing, thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
About that man. Didn't he want the coat?
No, he didn't want it.
Such a pretty coat. Oh, baby. I wish we had a fireplace. I wish we had a big, big fireplace and we could just sit in front of a fire on a rainy night like this and everything. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, baby?
Yeah, sure would.
We could drink hot coffee, maybe, and listen to music. Make fudge, huh? Do you like my new thing?
What?
This. Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, it's like $1 million, like a whole $1 million.
I liked it, so I bought it just like that. You hardly look.
I'm going to have to leave town. I'll have to get out of here. I'll have to go where they can't find me. That's what I'll do. I'll leave town. That'll be okay. Pretty soon they won't be looking for me, and everything will be all right.
Baby?
Just take a couple of things. A suit, some shirts. Won't be hard enough to stop me from getting out of town.
Oh, baby.
Honey, what's the matter? I say something?
You're going to leave me.
Oh,
You're
now,
going
look,
away.
kid, I have to go. Don't you understand? Puddin', I have to leave town. If I don't, they're going to get me.
They won't get you here. Just stay here with me.
Honey, I have to go. Now, look, I have to go.
Take me with you.
What?
Let me go with you and we can have some real nice time some other place.
Wait a
the same as we did here, please.
Sure, I'll take you. I'll take you with me.
Oh, baby, you're so good to me.
Wait a minute. I haven't got time for that. We've got to get busy. We've got to get a car first.
But we haven't got any money.
Look, how did I get the coat? How'd I get all those other coats?
Oh, but Ralph, you can't do that anymore. That man who was here said they're looking for you. You can't do that anymore. They'll be waiting for you.
He says I can't. I say I can. Now, don't you see how I use my head? All right, they're waiting for me, okay. But they're waiting for a guy with a fur coat on his mind. But, baby, I'm now a guy with a car on his mind. Get it?
Oh, baby, you're so smart. Oh, gee, you're smart.
Well, sir, with little old Wilma wiggling around in my arms, I began to go over the new idea myself. It's pretty good. So the next day when the paper came, I went right to work.
I wish it was a Rolls Royce, honey. I always wanted a Rolls Royce.
Well, someday maybe I'll get you one, honey.
Baby, I love that.
Wait a minute. Hello? Sorry, wrong number. There's a man. What's the next number there, baby?
PR. I guess that's Prospect. 3217.
3217.
For sale. Like new. Late model, convertible, private party.
Hello? You advertised a late model convertible for sale? I see. What make is it? How much are you asking? Well, could you give me an approximate amount? Yeah, I see. Well, when will your husband be home? Well, I'd like to come around and see it. Okay. Yeah. 27 Pierpont. Yes, thank you. Hey, baby, this is the one. This is the one.
Which one is the one?
Like new late model convertible.
Oh. Well, what was the matter with the others, baby?
I told you, a man answered on the others I called. This time a woman answered.
Oh.
Don't you see, it's the same thing. A woman trying to sell a car or a coat. She's alone, no one around. It makes it safer.
Oh, I see. You like my new hat?
Yeah, fine. It's a knockout, baby. Real knockout.
I'll wear it in the car. What kind of car did you say it is?
It's convertible. Big new convertible.
Oh, we'll look so swell going down the highway in a big convertible. Maybe we can put the top down.
Sure we can. Now, look, I told her we'd be right over to look at the car. You come with me, huh? It'll look better if you come with me.
Oh, there won't be any trouble. I mean, the police are looking for you, aren't
they? Now, you let me worry about the police. There won't be any trouble at all. You just keep your new hat on and come with me, baby, huh?
All right. I'll dress all up.
Well, it took her a while, but I finally got her over there. It's a very nice-looking house. Just the kind of a place where they had to have a convertible to show off a little bit. Just my meat. Wilma thought it was a very nice place, too. Baby? The gum.
Oh, juicy fruit. Want some?
No. Take the gum out, baby.
Oh.
And, look, you better let me do all the talking. I've been at this kind of thing for a long time now, huh?
You know best. Do I look all right?
Yeah, swell. Just swell.
Hello?
Hello. I'm the man about the car.
Oh, yes.
I'm Mr. Watson. This is Mrs. Watson?
Oh, come in, please. Come in.
Well, you see, we'd like to see the car if we could. We're in kind of a hurry.
The car's in the garage in the back. It's just easier to come through the house.
Oh, I see. All right. Good.
This way.
Something funny about this.
What?
If she had a car for sale, she'd have it sitting out in the driveway in front, not hidden out in the garage.
After the rain last night, I thought it best to keep it in the garage. I wanted it to look nice to show today.
Oh, silly. Come on.
I'll bet you two are newly married.
Oh, no.
We've been married for some time now.
You just look like newlyweds somehow. This way.
Hello.
Oh.
This is my husband, Mr. and Mrs. Watson.
Oh, Mr. Watson.
How do you do, I'm sure.
You seem familiar, Mr. Watson. You lived here long?
No, just passing through, as a matter of fact.
Where you staying?
At the Alpine Hotel.
How long did you say you've been in town?
A week.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an electrician.
Where'd you say you were from?
Cleveland.
What part?
Shaker Heights.
This must be quite different than Shaker Heights, eh, Mrs. Watson?
Oh, it is. It is. Isn't it?
Huh? What do you think of the car?
Boy, I haven't really had a chance to look at it yet.
Well, there she is. Take a look.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice car, all right. What are you asking for it?
Blue Book's paying $32 for this model right now. Cost you $38 on a lot. We'll compromise. $35.
Well, sounds pretty good. It's a little steep, though. I'll tell you what, how about $34?
Can you get someone to carry the papers?
Well, I can pay for it myself.
You brought cash?
No, but I can go over to the bank and get it if you'll give me an hour.
No cash, huh?
Well, you didn't expect me to walk in here with $3,400 on me, did you? Well, I don't know you people from Adam. No offense, you understand, but a man would be crazy to carry that much money around strangers.
What bank?
What was that?
He asked you what bank you'd go to get the money.
Oh, well, any bank. I just draw a draft on myself on my Cleveland account.
You say you're an electrician, Mr. Watson.
Yes, that's right.
Is your name really Watson?
What's that?
Don't you usually look for fur coats?
Look for what?
What's your real name?
Huh?
Your real name. What is it?
Baby.
Shut up. Let her talk.
Now, look, mister, I came here to buy a car. Now, what is this, huh?
There's the car. Buy it.
Well, I'd like to try it out first. Baby, will you shut up? Come on, please, shut up.
You have some identification.
Identification? Well, baby, will you just shut up?
What's the matter with your wife?
I don't know. I don't know.
We thought you might be needing a car.
You thought what?
I said we thought you might be needing a car to make a trip in.
Mister, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know a man named Phelps? Frank Phelps?
1425 West Yondoga.
Now, look, I told you, I'm new here. I don't know this town at all. I don't know any Frank Phelps.
Frank Phelps was killed yesterday. A man went into his house, stole a mink coat from his wife, then used his gun on Frank Phelps when he came home unexpectedly. He beat him to death, Watson. Just stood there and beat him to death.
I don't know any Frank Phelps.
I think you do.
I don't, I tell you. I don't. Do I, baby?
No, honest, he doesn't, and neither do I.
Mrs. Watson.
Yes?
You know we're police officers, don't you?
Yes.
I want to ask you one question.
Yes.
Why are you wearing Mrs. Phelps' mink coat?
What?
I didn't think you'd mind. You never pay any attention to the things I wear. You just never pay any attention at all. Oh, baby.
Baby?
Huh?
Let's go.
We went. And let me tell you this in case you want to think something over later. Always work alone. Always. That's one little old rule I'm sticking to from now on. Yes, sir, and the next time it's going to be different. But, well, that don't make any difference either, because there isn't going to be any next time. For me.
Suspense, in which Mr. Stacy Harris starred in tonight's presentation of Want Ad. Be sure to join us next Wednesday when we again bring you another presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed in Hollywood by Anthony Ellis. Tonight's script was written for Suspense by E. Jack Newman. The music was composed by Rene Garrigank and conducted by Leith Stevens. Featured in the cast were Mary Jane Croft, Paula Winslow, Joseph Kearns, Virginia Gregg, Jack Moyles, and Lou Krugman.
And now, a public service message from CBS Radio. Remember that phrase, one of our aircraft is missing? Another time around, it might be, one of our cities is missing. Radar can spot enemy aircraft before they reach our cities. but there are gaps which only your eyes can fill. CBS Radio suggests write or telephone your nearest Civil Defense Center, or write to Ground Observer Corps, Air Force, Washington, D.C., to learn how you can serve in our Ground Observer Corps.
July 11th, 1956, Suspense on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. A quick reminder, and this is not a paid announcement, that this is Slurpee Day. They used to call it 7-Eleven Day, but now that 7-Eleven owns Stripes and Speedway, they are going to have all sorts of special stuff. If you have to have their app, either the Speedway or 7-Eleven app, you will get a free small Slurpee drink today. And there you got other stuff going on, too. Check all that out. I mention it only because I want my listeners to know what's free, don't you know? Because I'm cheap, too. Why do you think I have Buy Me a Coffee on our webpage at classicradio.stream? I have it there so that you can help me continue to provide great old-time radio shows here on your favorite station, and also buy me a Dr. Pepper. Well, it's called Buy Me a Coffee, but same thing. But at classicradio.stream, you can not only buy me a coffee, you can also learn more about classic radio collecting. You can listen to our shows on demand there, or you can find where to listen to our shows on demand other places. And you can find all of our social media links, and you can contact me there. That's all at classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. We always ask you to thank this radio station and support their advertisers, because it's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. And please, please, please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.